Hey guys, Elizabeth Quinn here again with Elizabeth Seams and Scents, and welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to check out my website, which is waftingwonderfulwax.scentsy.us, where I'm Liz Quinn, your certified Scentsy consultant. So today I have for you part one of all my fall and winter wax stash, which is several of these plus several smaller bins that are the same type that are narrower, so I can kind of micromanage all of my categories. In the first part today, we're going to talk about mostly fall. So we're going to do apple, we're going to do pumpkin, we're going to do spice, and we're going to do bakery. And those are three of these guys. And then after that, I think that we will do all of the things that are sort of transition or smaller categories that are harder to describe. And then last, I will do all of my winter and holiday scents. So I'm hoping to have this in 3 parts. If it gets really long, we'll end up doing 4. So that is what we've got. So let's dive right in to all of my favorite wonderful bars that I look forward to melting fall winter. And I have my favorite new warmer behind me because I just wanted to put out a little bit of stuff that felt fall specific. And I have my favorite little welcome fall t-shirt on too. So let's get started. So in this bin, which is going to be mostly apple, I'm just going to start at the beginning, and also know that with many of these bars, I have multiples, especially for my winter and Christmas scents, because I don't necessarily like carrying all of those in my club, but with a lot of them, I get nervous that I'm not going to necessarily see them back next year, so I will get a whole pile. But in my bins here that I keep up in my hutch, if you saw any of my Instagram posts, that's where I store the wax that I am usually currently using or getting through. So I will have 1 or 2 of each of these in these bins, and then maybe many multiples in the places that I store things in the basement. So first off, we're just going to go randomly with Orchard, Apple, and Spice. And if you've been watching my channel in the last couple weeks, I've been talking about this bar a lot. It is beautiful. So it's apple, it's cherry, and it's a little bit of wood, and it just smells like an orchard, and it's amazing. And it started out as a Harvest Trio bar last year. It's a great medium throw, absolutely excellent. If you're looking for recommendations for like an early fall 6-pack, I would absolutely put this in there. So right now I've got 2 of those, and next I have 3 of my beloved Cedar Cider, which I usually do like late September, October, and November. Oh, this bar is so nice. It's a deep cedar, apple, and a little bit of spice scent. It's got a little bit of vanilla bean in there. It's incredible, and it just feels like the best parts of fall all in a bar. So one that you haven't seen me talk about very much yet is Apple and Cinnamon Sticks. And this one reminds me a bit of Bath & Body Works White Pumpkin, but this has more apple. And it has all those notes. So there's almost like, if I could say, an herbal quality. It's got cinnamon, it has oak, and it has apple. So there's a sharpness. That's more what I'm trying to say. There's a sharpness to this that you typically don't get in an apple bar, which makes it more complex and more intriguing than your just typical run-of-the-mill apple cinnamon spice. It's very good, but I have to be mood specific for that one. The next one that I've got in here is Bright Cider Life, and I actually have a couple more of this coming because I know as the weather gets colder, I'm really going to want to melt it. So this one was also a Harvest Trio a couple years ago, though. And it's got apple, it's got pumpkin, it has that mellow quality from cider, and just a little bit of spice, and I almost feel like there is the tiniest hint of baked good on the back of it. And it's amazing. I don't remember which bar it is where it says all the best parts are here. I think it's this one, but for me, that's absolutely true. All the best parts of fall are right here in this bar of amazing Bright Cider Life. All right, the next one is Autumn Hearth. This is a great bar. And so in the fall, we all kind of cuddle up and get closer to our homes again. In the summertime, you're out doing stuff, and you go to the lake and you go on vacation and you do all that. But autumn is all about the heart of hearth and home. And this bar is just like poster child for that whole sentiment. And it is tonka bean, it's apple, and it's cinnamon. And sometimes when I open the clam, I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, and then I melt it, and I'm like, oh, I love this. And I actually just got this in a car bar, and it's really, really good. So this is just a wonderful, wonderful, like read a book by the fire kind of a smell. All right, the next one was from our flash sale over the summer, and I honestly am sad that I do not have more. This is Grandma's Orchard. This one is a little more fresh. It's got more sharpness than your Orchard Apple and Spice. This was amazing. Melted in alternate warmers with cinnamon vanilla. I did that at the very beginning of August, and I'm going to do it again probably in September to use up the rest of this bar. Oh my goodness. So, all by itself, this one's nice, but when you added in those alternate warmer cinnamon and vanilla notes, it just made it sing. So this is a little bit sharp. It's kind of got quince, apple, a little bit of woodiness, but unlike your Orchard Apple and Spice where there's more sweetness in it, this is a little sharper. So do I wish I could get another bar? Absolutely. If I had to choose between the two, I think the Orchard Apple and Spice is just a little bit more like I would want to melt it more all the time. All right, the next one, we lost this. I think it was last fall. It was Cozy Fireside, which I will talk about in my Christmas video, Christmas and winter. We lost Honey Pear Cider. We lost Cranberry Garland. It was such a sad changeover of the catalog. So thankfully, they put Honey Pear Cider in clearance, and I grabbed like 10 of them because this is my younger daughter's like favorite fall scent, right up there with Caramel Apple Craze. This is mellow. This is gentle. This is a pear with sort of a cidery note and a little bit of honey and just this smooth spice. Similar to Cider Mill, but a pear version. It's so lovely. So basically I have myself rationed to like, I'm allowed to melt one bar. She's allowed to melt one bar or two, and then we'll just, try to eke out our savings of these downstairs, that stash, until hopefully we get this thing back and bring back my bar and it goes in our club. It's a very gentle, authentic, lovely scent. My only warning would be if you have this, don't melt it with things that are really strong and bossy because it will totally steamroller this and you won't be able to enjoy it. All right, got another bar of Bright Cider Life. Ooh, okay. Next we have the mysterious and very much split personality Apple S'mores. This is a great bar. It's a fun bar. I never take this one too seriously. It is the weirdest smoky cedar, apple, marshmallow, graham cracker, coconut milk combination you could ever imagine. First couple times I smelled this, I'm like, I don't like that bar, and I don't know why people love it so much. But it sort of grows on you, and then you have those days where you're like, I just need some apple s'mores because it's a cravings kind of a bar. So I've got, what do I have left? Basically the equivalent of one bar. That's all I've got left because it hasn't come back and bring back the bar in a while, and it hasn't been in my club. Okay, after that is the fantastic Caramel Apple Craze. This is wonderful. This is the perfect balance of caramel and apple. It manages to be both drippingly, cloyingly caramel and refreshingly light, bright apple at the same time. So good. I usually save this to melt in September and early October. Just delightful and so cute because it's the two colors. All right, next is the reigning queen of all things fall, and that is Cider Mill. I think they should give us this in a brick. Oh, and I absolutely love this. It's just perfect. It's like the perfect sweater, jeans, and fall boots combo, which is my favorite thing, like in all the world to wear as a favorite outfit. I love maxi dresses that are like floral, or I can't find paisley maxi dresses, but that would be like the perfect thing. Or plaid or any of that. Love that stuff, but my absolute favorite outfit is good riding boots, nice dark wash jeans, and either a button-down plaid shirt or a great sweater with a scarf. So all of that said, that's how I feel about Cider Mill. It's classic. It's totally perfect fall. Pumpkin, apple, little bit of spice, smooth and amazing. Okay, the next one is beautiful Hemingway. This I used for one of my literary melting baskets. I still haven't brought myself to melt it because it's my only bar, but I will melt it this fall, at least part of it. And this is like apple and cologne and oakiness, and it is so good. The most similar thing that we offer right now is falling apples, which I guess I'll just do that next. These are similar. Let me smell them side by side. The falling apples is just more woody and woodsy fresh, whereas the Hemingway has a little bit of a cologne note. They're both incredible. So this is really good if you can get a bar of this from somewhere, from a craft show, on the black market, whatever you can do, and you like those deep, like really resinous cologne smells, but it's got that happy red juicy apple with it, you'll be very happy. So then the new falling apples is amazing. Not the longest lasting performer, but it's good dark apple. Like those really deep, rich, late fall season apples with acorn and then some oakiness, a little bit of lavender. Fabulous. I am waiting until it's cold to really appreciate this. I'm sure I'll do some in September, but I'm thinking October, early November, this thing will totally come into its own. So the next one in my apple crate here, which is going to kind of turn into a spice crate by the time we get to the edge of it, is the lovely maple apple bourbon, which is just one of my absolute favorites. It's maple, it's apple, it's bourbon, it's warmth. That's one of the things I love about this particular scent, is that it's warm and it's got a little bit of a spiciness from the bourbon, and it's just delightful, and it makes your house just smell so incredibly happy. That's just the best way I can put it. It's got a really good throw, and it lasts a long time too. So then after that one, we have the Day Glow Jack's Obsession, which is like the craziest bar. I love this. It's really fun. I don't do a lot of licensed bars just because they're more expensive, but this is definitely a new favorite of mine. It's similar to Cider Mill, but it's got its own, like, more apple, no pumpkin at all type profile that is just totally addictive. So this is one that I just love. I just love to get into every year. Although, no, I really can't say that because this is the first time I've melted it. I've wanted to get a bar of it and try it, but I never really did. So too many different bars, too many different whatever's going on with my brain. Next, we have two, which have very similar notes, so I thought I'd talk about them together. We've got Harvest Blessings, which is apple, pumpkin, and oak, and we have Autumn Road Trip, which is apple, anjou, pear, and oak. And this is a little bit more pungent. The Autumn Road Trip, it's a little bit more fresh, but there are some similarities between these two. And they do share the apple note, but they're far more like funky, fresh, woodsy with the apple. And then this one, this is a lot like a classic Yankee type scent. And it's really nice. It's a little bit more musky and smooth than the last one, which is more sharp. And this has the apple, and then it's got more of a mellow oak note. And a tiny bit of spice. This one's got a little bit of spice. I think of it as like September, October, October, November. These two are a great pairing. I would definitely get these in like a bundle if you're looking for like quintessential good fall scents. All right, next I've got a row of sort of the spicy ones here. So we've got Autumn Sunset, which is like apple, pumpkin, lots of cinnamon, lots of spice, all jammed into a bar. It is a Scentsy OG. It's a classic. It's one of the best performers I've ever had from Scentsy, hands down. 2-3 days, nice and strong, like right up there with Cashmere and Corduroy, maybe even a longer lasting one than that. After that, we've got the beautiful Welcome Home, which is a little bit more gentle. This one's like lots of cinnamon, but it's got a sweetness, almost like cinnamon sugar. And then it has a little bit of almost like a tart berry note at the back. It's very nice. I do not find that this one performs as well in my home as most of my other spice bars, though. Then we have one that, even though it's in the spring summer catalog, I always include it in my fall winter melting, and you're going to see that in what I call my fall winter wax stash. Some things are just bars I like to melt in the wintertime, whether or not the catalog says they should be or not. So cinnamon vanilla is beautiful, and I really like it in the fall. It's good in the summertime too, but this one is the perfect balance of cinnamon and vanilla, so it's sweeter, and it's got a tiny bit of coconut milk, I think this one does. And it's just nice and smooth. And when you want a spice scent, because it's chilly outside, but you don't want like all cinnamon or all clove, this is a really good one, and it pairs very well with other scents. Next is like my favorite classic spice mix bar, and that is the beautiful Cozy Chai, which you could almost put as a bakery bar because it's so sweet too. Oh, this is so good. This always puts a smile on my face. Cozy Chai is the best. And when I read the description, a recent description of this, I had to crack up because this is supposed to have caramel in it. I don't know, I mostly just get lots of spices and that milkiness from a chai latte and kind of a gingerbread quality. It is one of my favorite bars of all time, and it always makes my home smell amazing. So that one's in my club. So that was the first crate. And you have no idea how many times I have taken and retaken this. It's been the craziest day. So let's hope I can get through these next two without 6 more interruptions. So next, I was going to get into what's mostly going to be pumpkin. And then there's some spicy smoky bars in here too. And then we'll get into our bakery. So the strangest pumpkin scent that I think Scentsy's ever made, they claim there's pumpkin in this one, I don't know, is Fairy Tale Pumpkin. And this is really a fun bar. If you don't take yourself too seriously, you can melt it. If you're really going for like a straight pumpkin bar, this is not it. This was last October's scent of the month. And it is weird. It has a licorice note. It definitely has a candy note, a blueberry note. And then they say there's pumpkin in here. I don't know if it's just how the combination of all of those scents comes together. It makes the pumpkin hard to detect, but it's very fun. And it's a nice warm scent. So I have enjoyed melting it. Is it in my top 10? No. But is it in my top 10 for the weird funky bars, kind of like apple s'mores or ghostly greetings, where you just crave it on a particular day and it's fun? That's definitely one of those. Okay, next is like the most amazing pumpkin bar that Scentsy's done recently. Scary good. Ooh, this is such a good bar. It's scary good, no pun intended. This bar is saturated pumpkin spice with a little bit of smoky butterscotch to make it really rich and sharp. This one coats your home in pumpkin goodness. It is the perfect fall bar. I have a friend, Melissa Height, who has recommended that you mix this with cinnamon buttercream to get like almost like a carrot cake. I am holding on to that idea for Thursday, which will be September the 1st, to kind of usher in fall, and I'm so excited to try it. And then, of course, some just plain scary good will be in a lot of warmers too, and I'm just going to love every minute of it. Okay, the next bar after that is going to be, oops, that's more scary good. I've got 3 of those up here. Oh, and I already did Autumn Road Trip. Okay, now, this one is kind of a curveball. It's more just where do you put it, because I can't really classify it very well. Painted Leaves. It's a very fall bar, but it's incredibly fresh. It definitely has no pumpkin in it. This is the closest thing that Scentsy does to Sweater Weather by Bath & Body Works. This is golden and sharp. The closest thing is Autumn Road Trip, but that has the fruit notes. This has none of that. It has no spice, no fruit. It gives you like a clean, sharp, almost like there's a little bit of eucalyptus or a very astringent evergreen note, plus some golden woods. It's beautiful, and I really enjoy this when it's crisp cold, like end of October, beginning of November, where you start to get frost on the branches and most of the leaves are gone. Great smell. I got that in the flash sale, and I've got a couple more like half bars from Bring Back My Bar. So after that, all right, I've got a few bars here that are just kind of hard to classify. Around the Campfire is super smoky woodsy. I was talking about this in my this week's What I've Been Warming video, because I did a combination of Around the Campfire and Toasted Marshmallow. This is so good though. If you like anything Scentzy, anything where it's got that sweet sap and smoke, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So this is definitely one of my top 10 bars for uniqueness and scent appeal for the fall. I love it. I like to mix this in the wintertime with Cinnamon Bear to get what I call winter hearth. That's such a good mix. And it's good by itself. It's good mixed with sugar. According to other people, I don't actually have not been able to do that because I have very little sugar left. It's great with toasted marshmallow. It's an amazing bar. So get yourself some of this if you like smoky at all. All right, next would be, ooh, this is just spicy. Gingerbread Hugs. Even though it was in a sense of the season, I've got like a bar and a half of this left. It's just a really good ginger scent. It's a good gingerbread scent. It's a good starting in November through to January. It almost smells like there's the frosting on top of the gingerbread. Really, really nice. And I just love spice, so I use that probably mostly after Halloween. All right, next is another one of the really interesting smoky bars. That is Fireside Chats. This is a weird bar. Got this in last year's Scents of the Season. And so it almost has like an orange or tangelo note. It's got smokiness from like a hearth side. And then all I can tell you is it's almost got a little drip of barbecue in here. It's not bad. Like, I liked it. It made me feel cozy and late fall, but it's a strange bar. Anyway, so I have like 2 of these. Ooh, next is a spice scent I love, and this one's in my club. This is Cozy Spice. This was from a really old, not a Scents of the Season, but one of those 5 bars that they did a year that they didn't do Scents of the Season around the holidays. And this is a bar you can melt any time of the year. It's mostly nutmeg and creaminess and gentle spices. It's really good. Honestly, this would be a great bar to have in the catalog. I don't know why they've never brought it back. To me, this is sort of on the same plane with cinnamon vanilla as far as not too aggressive, but just a really good spice. Okay, here's another pumpkin and spice. My beloved pumpkin roll, which is definitely a favorite. And if you can hear huffling and snuffling, Truth is fast asleep, Mr. Moose down there, and he's dreaming about something. He's all twitching and being all funny. Almost 140 pounds of black German Shepherd down there. Oh, but pumpkin roll is so good. Pumpkin roll is homey. Pumpkin roll is, for me, my Thanksgiving-y pumpkin scent because it's got the cream cheese, it's got the pumpkin cake, and it's got a little bit of pecan. Beautiful smell. All right, next is one that's all nutty. And this one I probably melt from like Thanksgiving up till in the holidays, and that is your Central Park pralines. And yeah, this is just a really good nut smell. And when this used to be in the catalog, people really liked it. And it's like a deep roasted pecan praline. Just lovely. And I need to melt it more this year. I honestly neglected it quite a bit last year. I've got like a bar and a half left, and I need to just get through it. It's so good. And then another one, which I'm kind of sad that I'm down to like half a bar, is Amber Hollow. This is like super spicy. And I love it. I love the sharpness. There's like pepper and clove leaf, which is its own smell. And just this deep ambery, so good. And most people can't stand it. So for me, this just makes my home smell great. Love it. All right, next I've got, did we already do this in the other one? Yeah, we already did honey pear cider. So this is where sometimes I get multiples and then I can't remember which bin I classified it in. So honey pear cider is really good, but we've already talked about it. So I hope we get this one back and bring back my bar. Ooh, next. I really haven't talked about some of my more beloved pumpkin smells because I didn't want to overdo it and kind of get emotionally burned out on them already. So I love pumpkin chai. And I'll probably hold off on melting this until late September. I don't know. We'll see how the cravings go. Oh, this is such a good scent, guys. It's very similar to cozy chai, but there's a sweetness and a mellowness that pumpkin brings to the picture that just makes this one of my favorites. It is in the catalog. This is a great one. So the only thing I say as a warning is sometimes that first hour or so, you have to kind of let it mellow out because there's a milk note because it's a chai smell that I don't always love. Then after that, it's hours and hours of beautiful pumpkin spice goodness. So good. Okay, next is Farm Stand Pumpkin. This is wonderful, and I melt this one September into October. It's lovely. This is lighter. This is the one that I feel like if you actually want to smell pumpkin and not just pumpkin spice, this one gives you some real pumpkin. We don't have a woodsy pumpkin scent, which I miss. We used to have one called Porch Pumpkin, and I don't even know what we had before that. It's been too long, but this is really good with the tiniest bit of cinnamon, but it's not like a red hot cinnamon. It just kind of gives pumpkin a little bit of dimension. It's supposed to have caramel, but I get a freshness and a sweetness, almost like I used to work at horse barns. The hay and the straw in a tack room with the pumpkin, I love it. Okay, so then we've got Pumpkin Cinnamon Swirl, which is just, oh, it's such a good bar, guys. This is for all of you that don't want too much of anything in your pumpkin, just sweetness and bakery. This is good. So it doesn't give you pumpkin spice latte. It doesn't give you like heavy pumpkin and baked good. It just gives you a cinnamon roll with cream cheese and a little bit of pumpkin for sweetness. Really, really nice. Total crowd pleaser. And this comes back year after year because it's so beloved. All right, the next one I've got in here really should more go with like your autumn road trip or your, I am so drawing a blank, too many videos, too many bars. Harvest Blessings, because first day of fall is kind of more like that, and it sort of goes along with Painted Leaves. It's a little bit sharp and it's so interesting. This bar is hard for me to describe and get my head around. It's definitely got spices like nutmeg, but it's also got a golden woodsiness. And for me, seriously, it smells a little bit like a sweet potato. I don't think anybody else gets that out of there, but this is my younger daughter's favorite, like sort of middle of the fall smell, and it's very, very nice. A lot of people love this. For me, it's just, it's good, it's okay. Next on my list, which is the last pumpkin scent, is going to be Cranberry Pumpkin Spice. Now, If I could have a bar, I really haven't been talking about it in videos up till now because I haven't wanted to get emotionally burned out on this. You want a bar that gives you all the best of fall. I love this. I'm sad it didn't make it into the catalog for people who don't have it in their club. I've got it in my club. This cranberry pumpkin spice is perfection for fall because it gives you the sweetness of pumpkin, the sweetness of fall spices, almost a bakeryness, and then the cranberry. How they put it all together, I do not know. I melted and melted and melted and melted this thing last year. It was in last year's Harvest Trio. Oh, it's perfect. And I haven't been putting it in videos because it's not available. If this was in the catalog, it would have absolutely made it into my top 10. Great, great, great bar. I had to go grab it from downstairs because somehow, so many orange bars, it's hard to make sure that you've got one of everything, right? I missed putting this in here and I couldn't not do the video without it. So I had to stop it and run downstairs and grab it and put it in here. So really, really good. That was available in clearance for quite a while over the summer, so I hope that some of you picked that up. If you haven't melted it yet, you're going to love it. It's so good. Anyway, so last one for this particular video is going to be our bakery bin. And bakery is definitely one of my personal, beloved categories. And there's so much good stuff in here. Some of it is in the catalog, even though maybe I wouldn't specifically say it's fall. We'll just start with this one. The Clementine Cupcake. But I think we just need a little bit of palate cleanser with all the heavy scents that you get in the fall time. So this one, along with something like your coconut lemongrass, or if you have a brick of it, or you've got it in your club, your Squeeze the Day. Those are things that I would still include in my fall winter melting because some days you just don't want pumpkin and spice, right? This is such a good bar. This was a new release in the spring. It doesn't last a long time, but man, is it sweet. It's so good. So it's got clementine, it's got a nice sweet yellow cake, a little bit of a lemon sugar. It's loveliness. So probably smaller spaces like a little kitchen or a little nook somewhere is perfect for that. So then everything else that's in here is bakery and definitely fall appropriate. So let's just start at the back. So brown sugar praline. This is a bar that I had in my club for a very long time. This is the last bar because I did finally pull it because I know that there are things coming that I would prefer to save and I can only put so much stuff in your club, But this was in my club for years because it's the most beautiful brown sugar and nut scent. It's not as deep as the Central Park pralines that we talked about earlier. It's gentle, but because of that, it also doesn't throw super, super well. So this would have stayed in my club if this next one hadn't showed up and bring back my bar over the winter, but it did. And that was the beautiful oats and honey. This is similar as far as the depth and the layers that are in it to the brown sugar praline, but it's a better mixer and I think it throws better. So this one's in my bi-monthly club. The other one had been in my quarterly for a very long time. Oats and honey is so good. And I had heard people talk about it for many years, but I don't think they've ever done a better oat bar. Apple and oats, I've had that. I've melted it. I really don't care for it as much. This is perfect. So I hope, again, that you put this in your club or you got a bunch in January. It's just oats and honey, like the streusel on top of a muffin. It's perfect, and you can mix it with almost anything. All right, next, just because it's kind of hard to classify this one, vanilla bourbon isn't necessarily bakery. I guess it's almost spiced, but it's smooth and it's rich like a bakery bar. My younger daughter adores this. This year's batch is better than in the past, so this is vanilla. Whoops, ooh, this one broke. And bourbon. And it's so nice. And this would be good melted with something like the oats and honey I was just talking about, or some of the other ones in here that are just golden brown and delicious. So next we've got Simply Vanilla, which again isn't exactly a bakery bar, but it mixes with all things bakery. Simply Vanilla is the most classic, wonderful bar. I have another one coming in my bi-monthly in September, and these last 4 cubes I'm trying to not use because it's so hard when you're down to your last couple cubes and you're so on the calendar, when am I going to get another bar of this? And you want to hoard stuff. Okay, then after that we have one of the best bakery bars. It doesn't last a long time, but the scent profile is spot on, and that is your beautiful apple cherry strudel. It's so good. It's just, it's amazing. And so the apple, the cherry, and that buttery, flaky strudel type crust, it's all here. While it's going, it saturates your room, but eventually it just sort of dies and falls off a cliff. But in between, it's amazing. Okay. Then I put this in here not because it's in the catalog, but I think it's still available online, or at least to put in your club, and that is Red, White, and Berry Pie. It's more of a summer scent, but it's a really good bakery, and I enjoyed it very much. So this one is similar to Apple Cherry Strudel, but imagine a little bit more Luden's Cough Drop Cherry, and that's what this is. So between the two of them, I like Apple Cherry Strudel better. I didn't club Red, White, and Berry Pie, but it's a good one. Ooh, and then we come to the cult classic, Sweet Plum Pastry. This is a good bar. This is a bar that's in my quarterly. For a long time, we got 2 bars quarterly, and eventually we started to get a stack, and they started to discolor, so I dropped it down to 1 bar. I don't think I'll regret that because we have so many in backlog. And this one's greasy because it hasn't been used, but it's plum, it's sweetness, bubbly juices, almost like when they spill over the pie crust edge, and then that little bit of crustiness. It's a beautiful bar, guys. Beautiful bar. Next, we have all that I have left of Breakfast in Bed. This is the only thing where I kind of wish I'd thrown it in my club last year. It's a great fall pastry bakery bar. It's pumpkin pastry, raspberry filling, and a sprinkling of like a cinnamon sugar and some glaze. Very nice, unique profile because it marries the raspberry, the Danish, and the pumpkin. Really good. If you've got any or you have it in your club, it's a good thing. All right, next is one that I really only have for mixing. Last year, they brought out this cinnamon buttercream. It's pretty, but it's kind of flat and doesn't throw real far for me. But I want to mix this with Scary Good, and I'm going to give it another try on its own and just see what we get. Next is my beloved apple butter frosting. It's so good. It's a classic. I have 2 of them in my bi-monthly club. Apple, buttercream, smooth spices. Beautiful. One of my top 10 bars, actually for all year round. Butter pecan. This one used to be a scent of the month. I get one of these bi-monthly. I almost took it out of my club, but because I got rid of the brown sugar praline instead, I'm going to be keeping this one. This is stronger. This has more personality to me. It's got almost like a butter pecan ice cream or a pecan sandy cookie kind of a smell. Fabulous and really good in the fall. This is a good complement to pumpkin scents. All right, then we have one that for years I had gotten an old bar that must have gone bad. I thought this French toast was the most disgusting thing they'd ever invented in bakery till I got a fresh bar this summer and I fell in love. I actually need to melt this in the next few days here. Oh, this French toast is so good. It really smells like sweet, mapley, cinnamony, buttery, eggy, gooey, crispy. That's a lot of descriptives. I like descriptives. Actually, when I was a kid, my teachers used to cross out all the extra descriptive words that I would put in my paragraphs, but now I found a way to use them. All of you love my descriptions. Anyway, all that is in this amazing bar, and it makes your house absolutely smell cuddly and like Sunday morning breakfast, and it's great any time of the year, really. Most of these bakery bars, unless they have specific notes that make you feel fall, you can do your bakery time anytime. It's so good. All right, next is another one from the Bring Back My Bar this summer, and that is your Caramel Vanilla Delight. Oh man, when I first got this, and again, I cannot wait for my September shipment. I'm getting 2 bars in September. All I've got left is this 3 little sad cubes here. I wasn't sure that I wanted to put this in my club because I have so much bakery in my club. But I melted it, and I'm like, this is different. It's not toffee. It's not salted. It's not toasted. It's not any of those things. It's smooth caramel syrup, vanilla, and rum, and it's so lovely. Oh, guys. So this is probably one that's more like spring, summer specific, but I'll melt it all year round so happily. It kind of smells like a good shortbread cookie dipped in gooey caramel. Okay, next is my favorite of all the toffee and salted caramel type scents, and that is your toffee butter crunch. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so good. Oh, this is sweet, like that shattery kind of toffee with walnuts and depth, and it's very fall, and it's just absolutely decadent. One of my favorite bars. Next we have, oops, there's only 2 cubes in there. Let's go for the full bar. The Stroop Waffle Delight, which is in my quarterly club. Oh, guys, this is so good. If you like pumpkin pecan waffles from Bath & Body Works, this is your bar. But it's only in my club now because it's retired, which is so sad. It's just butter, tiniest bit of cinnamon sugar, and stroopwafel cookie, which pretty much is like a little tiny thin version of like a waffle. So good. All right, now the next one I sort of have a love-hate relationship with, and that is graham cracker crunch. I like it, but it doesn't do real well in my home on its own. I have it primarily to mix. I love mixing it with sugared strawberry. It makes the most wonderful PB&J. But graham cracker crunch is very nice, and I'm going to give it another try in the house this fall, see if it does any better. It is different because it's graham cracker and peanut butter, and it's really sweet. It's very homey. So it isn't that I don't like the scent, it's just that I don't love the performance. Anyway, we're going to try some more of this again this year. Alright, next I have one where I almost didn't get this other bar out of clearance, but I melted it in my basement for some reason over the summer when I was just sick of all things floral and, summery, and I loved it down there. So I got one more Cookies for Santa out of the clearance before it went away this summer. This is an odd bar. This has this note that can come across like spoiled milk or sour cream. Yeah, and honestly, this particular bar doesn't have the sweetness that it's supposed to have. I wonder if this one's actually gone bad. Ooh. Well, this might be one reason not to always shop in clearance. This particular bar, I don't know if it's good anymore. How sad, I never opened it. It should have this sort of milky brown sugar sweetness. Yeah, it's there. I don't know. Anyway, we'll try it in the basement. If it's a fresh enough bar, this is good. And it's really, really good with vanilla cinnamon maple, which at the moment I only have in a brick, and that was in my brick stash video. But I don't know. Once in a while, a bar does go bad. And it gets this kind of waxy off quality to the scent. I'm afraid that may be where this is, and that is sad. Anyway, all right, next is vanilla bean buttercream, which I also have in a brick. Not a lot to say about it. It's buttercream with vanilla. It's a really good mixer. Oh, this is nice. And see, here's the thing. Sometimes these basics are better just to buy in a bar, even though the brick is a deal. Because I'm getting a lot of complexity out of this where my particularly poured brick of this isn't so good. So, anyway, that just, mileage varies. Some bricks are awesome, some bricks are sort of scentless. Pumpkin tiramisu. I've, only got 2 cubes left of this, and I keep holding on to them because this was in Harvest Trio, oh man, 3 years ago? 4? And it's really nice. It's sweet and frothy. Why they put tiramisu in the description, I don't know, because it just smells like brown sugar and pumpkin and a little bit of mascarpone cheese. It's nice. It's really good. Actually, if I had a full bar of this, that and your cinnamon buttercream would be fabulous together. Okay, so next I have toasted marshmallow, which is so good. Toasted marshmallow, it's malty, it's toasty, it's got that gooey marshmallow quality. And with a really good bar, it lasts a long time. My last couple haven't been the best quality. I don't know if it's just because they're sitting around in the warehouse because it's only in my club, but if it's a good bar and totally on, lasts for a couple days and it's really nice. Okay, next is my beloved almond croissant. Now this is a bar. I'm so glad I have it in my club because they just pulled it out of the catalog. Oh man. I could just sit here and sniff this one all day. So good. It's got the almond, which for me is a totally addictive note. I love it. I love to eat almond pastry. As a little kid, the first time I ever had marzipan, I thought it was a little strange, but then I just fell in love. Even at Easter, we used to have this wonderful chocolate shop in town that would make these little marzipan strawberries and dip them in chocolate. Out of this world. So this gives me some of that, and it is a great scent. Then, just because this is a bakery bin, Vanilla Waves is a little bit more on the spring summer side, but it's like vanilla and salted like a caramel and sweetness. Oh, it's good. And it's just a saturated scent, so I will put it in my bin all year round no matter what. Next we have Churro Churro, which is very light. It's in my club. Really good one. But it's only really good in a small space. I made the mistake of melting it with things that were too aggressive the other day, and it just got totally lost. But when this is on, it's the most beautiful vanilla with cinnamon and just bakery sweetness and a little bit of greasiness, almost like that fried churro. It's beautiful. Okay, next we have one. Now this is going back a long ways. Hazelnut frosting, a very old bar at this point. I'm so glad it's in my club. It's never coming out. This is so different than anything else in here. It's hazelnut, ginger, and a deep buttercream scent. It's sort of mysterious. You get a lot of hazelnut on the bottom. Absolutely delicious bar, and it makes your home smell subtly, sophisticatedly baked goodsy. So good. Definitely a favorite of mine. I wish they would bring that back. And I do have a clam of salted caramel toffee, but I think it's in my empties, so that's currently in the catalog. It is lighter and sweeter than your toffee butter crunch, but it's a little bit heavier than, say, our caramel vanilla delight. That's very good too. So, okay, we made it through part 1. My poor daughter's going to have to edit like 3 parts together because it's gotten interrupted, but thank you for spending some time with me. I'm going to get ready to film part 2, which is going to be more everything that's in between, that's not so specifically like fall bakery, spicy, woodsy, apple pumpkin, but it's not really Christmas either. So, I'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye.